WNEM TV5 Evening Extra is brought to you by the Law Office of Carol Thomas.
Thanks for tuning in to TV5 Evening Extra. A somber day in the city of Flint as the police department is mourning one of its own after an officer was found dead outside a Genesee County church. The city of Flint has identified that officer as Charles Redmond. Flint Police Chief Terrence Green says his death is being investigated as a suicide and no foul play is suspected. State police were called to the Trinity Assembly of God Church in Mount Morris around 2:15 yesterday afternoon for a death investigation. Troopers say it happened outside the church and was not affiliated with the church. According to a statement from the city, Officer Redmond had served on the force since December of 2020. He was a canine handler. He had received Officer of the Month awards for outstanding job performance 3 times, most recently in April of last year. A statement from Flint Police says in part he was recognized as an honest, hardworking, dedicated, trustworthy, and courageous officer. Adding, Officer Redmond's loss is deeply felt by his fellow officers, the department, and the community he served. He will be sincerely missed. Meanwhile, Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely also released a statement asking the community to join him in sending prayers and condolences to Redmond's family, saying in part, those who serve in public safety carry more than what we see. The weight of protecting others, often at great personal cost, can take a lasting mental and emotional toll. It is on all of us to look out for one another and to make sure no one feels they have to carry that burden alone. Neely says the city remains committed to ensuring mental health services are available for officers. If you need help, you can call or text 988, the Suicide and Life Crisis Lifeline, for resources or someone to talk to.
In a winter weather advisory in place for parts of the TV5 viewing area tonight, it is our northern row of counties, Roscommon, Ogama, and Iosco County. It also includes Alcona County. These go into effect at 8 o'clock later tonight and last until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. The possibility of a wintry mix later tonight, which could feature light snow or icing or perhaps a combination of both. It's a really messy system, but also a very light system. So we do expect as we go through tonight that we will be able to get through it without major headaches, but it could cause some icy areas for the morning commute tomorrow. They also may see some areas of precipitation on radar tonight that may not be reaching the ground right away. Anything that you see now has not been detected by any ground observation sensors up to this point, and I would expect that to remain the case for the next several hours. A live look at downtown Saginaw shows the streets are clear. The fresh coating of snow is still in the event park, and so we haven't really seen temperatures that, even though they've been warmer enough to really melt the snow, but we do get warmer over the next couple of days and we'll likely lose some of our snowpack. Our temperatures this evening, middle to upper 20s, Bay City and Saginaw 27, Midland 28, and Flint 25. Our wind chills in the teens and low 20s over most of the area, though the thumb is just a little bit cooler. Our winds southerly tonight about 5 to 10. A look outside at downtown Saginaw over to our wind chills. We've got teens and 20s expected tonight. The rest of your forecast, including some warmer 7 days coming up.
Thank you, Chris. Almost 6 years after the catastrophic dam failures, we're inching closer to full restoration of all 4 lakes in Midland and Gladwin counties, with work at the Sanford Dam now considered substantially complete. TV5's James Felton tells us when people may be able to once again take a dip in Sanford Lake.
I've told the team we can't do any spiking before the end zone, so we're very dedicated to making sure we're going to get the timeline set for all 4 dams, and obviously with 3 dams coming up this year, we're pretty excited, and hopefully we can get Sanford up by before Memorial Day.
4 Lakes Task Force President David Kepler tells us he feels good about where things are right now, but the job isn't done yet. He says that the Sanford Dam is now considered to be substantially complete, with all major restoration work finished. And if all goes to plan, the Sanford Lake refill process will begin on April 15th.
From a safety perspective, we bring it up a foot and a half a day. We would expect then we're going to have a period in that time where we hold it up for maybe a week or 2 to just make sure everything's stable. And that hopefully if we start on April 15th, we'll be done by the end of end of May.
Kepler tells us it will take some time for the lake to stabilize. He also expects to have some debris float out and move over. Kepler says barges will be in place to clean that up.
Hopefully we'll have a system in place that people can enjoy this summer and continue to work on improving the water quality and habitats and stuff as we move forward.
James Felton, WNEM TV5.
As of now, the Smallwood Dam is expected to be considered substantially complete in July, Secord in September, and Edenville in the fall of 2027. The state is reporting its second work-related death in 2026. The Michigan Occupational Safety and Health Administration says last Friday, a 53-year-old in Flint was killed disassembling an excavator. Investigators say the operator of the excavator moved the arm to help reinstall a pin, but while doing that, they pinned the victim between the arm and front bucket of the excavator. They were taken to a hospital where they later died. No other details were provided. State police are investigating after a 35-year-old man was shot to death in Flint Friday night. It happened at the Midway Square townhomes off Lippincott on the city's southeast side. Police are hoping anyone with information will come forward. If you know something, you're urged to call Flint police or submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers. Developing news, lawmakers returned to Washington today with just days to find a funding solution on the Department of Homeland Security. Or the agency shuts down. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says Democrats are standing firm in demanding reforms to ICE.
Of course, we need to make sure that there are no masks so that ICE is conducting itself like every other law enforcement agency in the country. We also need to make sure that state and local officials have the ability to conduct independent investigations so that when ICE or CBP or other officers violate the law, they can be investigated.
Democrats' demands include requiring agents to wear body cameras, removing face masks, and coordinating with local authorities to prosecute crimes, among other conditions. Some Republicans have indicated openness to some of those demands.
There's some things that make sense, there's a lot of things that don't. I'll tell you what's not going to be in there: amnesty for illegal aliens. I'll tell you what's not going to be there: stripping away protections for law enforcement officers that are trying to protect themselves. If rioters get to wear masks, then law enforcement gets to wear masks as well.
Missing Friday's deadline would not cause a full government shutdown, as the deadline is for an agreement to provide funding just for DHS. Governor Gretchen Whitmer says her new proposal aims to put money back in your pocket. The Saving Michiganders Money Plan in the next budget proposal would complete a full rollback of the retirement tax and continue the working families tax credit. It also proposes a new sales tax holiday, that is, on school supplies like classroom items, computers, and clothing, free breakfast and free lunch for all public schools, and free pre-K and community college. New at 6, helping a population at higher risk for suicide. A new study right here in mid-Michigan hopes to save lives. TV5's Zane O'Mara explains many of those we lose to suicide have recently spent time in jail.
One of the biggest challenges in suicide prevention is finding people at risk when they're in risk, especially people who aren't well connected to health care.
Michigan State University, Genesee Health System, and the Genesee County Sheriff's Office partnering for an intervention study for adults recently in jail, a group at higher risk for suicide. Researchers say 1 in 5 adults who die by suicide in the U.S. spent a night in jail in the prior year.
Well, we heard it here, and we release people from jails across the state and the country, and many times there's not a wraparound service, but in this particular study, we built those relationships while they're incarcerated, and we stayed with them as they left the jail. So there was a point of contact, there was follow-up.
The 10-year-old study focused on 800 adults in Genesee County in Rhode Island who had recently attempted suicide or reported serious suicidal thoughts. Participants were randomly assigned to either receive usual care or a brief safety planning intervention, with follow-up support after their release.
Clinician sits down, talks with somebody about what are their triggers, what are their warning signs, how do they know when they should maybe reach out for help.
Dr. Jennifer Johnson says the intervention helps people identify triggers, coping strategies, people to contact, and professional resources. The research shows those who received the intervention had 55% fewer suicide attempts in the year after leaving jail compared with those who received usual care.
The most important thing is to have a conversation with someone as a human being. That's how the safety plan starts, but that's something that friends and family can do.
While the study centered on the jail, the findings could have even broader impacts.
When you look at that simple act and having somebody who's there that you could pick up the phone in crisis, just like when somebody's going through addictions, you have a sponsor, you have a coach. Same thing with mental illness. If that's duplicated, doesn't matter where it's being needed, it works.
In Flint, Zano Mayer, WNEM TV5.
Gardner White Furniture is expanding with 9 new stores, including one in Flint Township. The business will move into the former home of Value City Furniture at the corner of Miller and Linden Roads. Gardner White says it will open sometime in the spring with a grand opening date announcement in the near future. New stores will also open in Lansing, Traverse City, and Grand Rapids. And for the first time, Gardner White is moving outside the state, opening a store in Ohio. A fire-damaged grocery store in Bay County reopens tomorrow. Jack's Fruit and Meat Market in Essexville was forced to close in December. In a Facebook post, the market says it can't wait to welcome customers back to the location on Center and Pine and thanked everyone for their patience, as well as their encouragement as its team worked to get the store ready. The Essexville location will open up with grocery specials. The store was the first location the owners ever opened. Dressed to impress for a family party. Walk the red carpet at the Greater Midland Community Center's Black and White Ball. The fun planned for the whole family after the break. Plus, embrace the winter weather this weekend. Still ahead, how the Department of Natural Resources is encouraging everyone to get outside. A deadly intersection and a push for change hitting a roadblock. Back in September, 3 members of the former reality TV show family, the Putmans, were killed there. Since, the family has made it their mission to prevent another family from feeling their pain. But despite the Tuscola County Board of Commissioners giving the green light for safety changes, the Road Commission is saying not so fast. TV5's James Felton explains.
This letter just completely floors me. And what are the people at Tuscola County going to do now? We just got to sit and wait for the study?
A safety study by the Tuscola County Road Commission on 6 intersections, one of which, the place where William Edward Putman III lost 3 members of his family after a truck driver ran the stop sign on September 26th. Since then, Putman has worked to get safety upgrades at Hurd's Corner Road and Deckerville Road, along with 5 other intersections in Tuscola County. In December, the County Board of Commissioners unanimously approved a motion to have the County Road Commission execute the installation of rumble strips and flashing stop signs at the intersections. On January 22nd, the board sent a work order to the Road Commission for the reasonable and customary installation of solar lights and rumble strips at the intersections. On January 28th, a law firm representing the Road Commission responded with its own letter to the board, saying in part that the Road Commission declines your invitation to install 12 solar lights and 24 rumble strips at the intersections you've identified, and your demand that our client do so is misguided. The letter went on to say that equally wrong is your repeated assertion that the Road Commission answers to the County Commission or is otherwise under your control. Furthermore, this Road Commission isn't going to permit the installation of the solar lights and rumble strips you've unlawfully demanded it to install. That's because our client's safety study isn't complete. The law firm also promised plans to take legal action, saying that if the Road Commission sees someone undertaking any work of that sort, it's going to report their activity to the Michigan State Police. Then it'll remove the non-permitted traffic control devices and sue you and your contractors to recover the damage.
When I read this letter, it just saddened me that this is where we're at in life.
In its letter to the Road Commission, the board stated that if the Road Commission declines this installation request, the Board of Commissioners will seek alternate authorized installation providers. That would set up a potential showdown in court if both parties follow through with their plans. But right now, the safety upgrades Putman has been pushing for are not in place, and he can't understand why.
I hate looking at it every day. I mean, I just thought we could go to the Road Commission and say, hey, could you do something? Now it's just turned into a weekly nightmare because I'm just so deep into it now. And frankly, I'm just tired of it. I mean, when can we just go back to what God asked us to do? Love your neighbor as yourself.
The Tuscola County Road Commission says they don't know how long their safety study will take. It also had no additional comment. State Representative Amos O'Neill has filed for re-election. O'Neill represents Michigan's 94th House District, which includes Saginaw and nearby townships. The Democrat is the only candidate so far for the seat. O'Neill is currently serving his 3rd term in the House. A new way to watch the Detroit Tigers and soon the Red Wings. Ilitch Sports and Entertainment has partnered with Major League Baseball to broadcast Tigers games starting this season. The partnership creates a new platform where you can watch games when and where you want. Games will be available through either a cable or satellite package or a streaming subscription. The Red Wings will start their new broadcast deal next season. Get gussied up for the Greater Midland Community Center's Black and White Ball. You're invited to Friday's Family Fun Night. Parents and kids can walk the red carpet, hop in the photo booth, try their hand at a craft, and dance the night away. Kids under the age of 12 need a parent with them at all times. The Black and White Ball is free for members, $7 for the public, and it's from 5 to 7. You do have to register, and you can do so in the hot link section on WNEM.com. Grab your rods and reels for Michigan's free fishing weekend. Starting Saturday, you can fish without a license. The Department of Natural Resources is also waiving the recreation passport fee, allowing free vehicle entry to all 103 state parks and more than 1,000 DNR-managed boating access sites. You can find more information on WNEM.com.
It'll look outside tonight at I-75 near Flint Bishop Airport. Our Vehicle City Harley-Davidson camera, and also with the GM plant off in the distance there. This is looking southbound, and seems like everything is moving at the expected pace. Your first alert pinpoint Doppler radar does look concerning on the front end. However, not much of this precipitation that is showing up on your radar for tonight is actually hitting the ground at this point. We do expect eventually later on tonight that it may, but I think what is happening happening now is it's picking up on some moisture in the upper levels of the cloud that is still just evaporating before it hits the surface. I think your sky tracker shows it slightly better, where there's a better chance of wet weather in the near term in northern lower Michigan, the UP, and areas to the west, though some of this will try to move in our direction a little bit later tonight. And because of that, we do have winter weather advisories in place for Roscommon, Ogama, Iosco, and Alcona counties. That's for light snow, light icing, or a combination of both. It's a messy, disorganized system that is coming through, and it doesn't really look all that heavy. So I know we had some incidents with icy roads late last week, late Thursday night into Friday morning. I don't necessarily expect a repeat, at least to that scale. I think this could be a more localized event later tonight. You can see the scattered nature of those pink colors that are showing up on the hour-by-hour forecast. And then as we head into the overnight hours, it moves out pretty quickly. So it doesn't even seem like it's sticking around for long. I would still be careful in the morning. Anytime we're talking about icing, we always want to play that conservatively. But we do warm up rather quickly. We're already in the middle 30s in most of the area by lunchtime, and even warmer potentially for the afternoon. So even if we do have icy roads, I don't really anticipate it sticking around for long as we go through the rest of the day. There may be a few scattered snow showers later tomorrow night, but those also not expected to be terribly heavy. Ice predictor shows maybe a couple hundredths of an inch of ice. That's really not much. So again, I think this could be a very localized thing where maybe a few slick spots develop, but not necessarily widespread gridlock. Your low temperatures tonight will primarily be in the upper teens to mid 20s. Your highs tomorrow mostly around the upper 30s to near 40. I would not be surprised if the Flint area or somewhere near there could touch 40 briefly tomorrow afternoon. And the wind chills really not all that bad. I think as we start the day tomorrow, they're mostly in the upper teens, and those will be in the 20s for tomorrow afternoon. So doing a lot better than we have lately with that. Your TV5 First Alert 7-day forecast shows temperatures should be around the upper 20s to low 30s much of this week. Do expect as we head towards the weekend will be even warmer, middle to upper 30s probably Saturday and Sunday. And I think we could be pushing 40 early next week on Monday. And in addition, we're getting a break from some of the bitterly cold temperatures, but also a break from a lot of the winter weather this week outside of tomorrow morning's chance.
All right, thank you, Chris. All new tonight, a small town coming to the aid of one of its own during a rare winter storm. It's tonight's can't miss moment on the news at 10 on the Great Lakes Sports and Entertainment Network. Then on TV5 News at 11, Governor Whitmer has a plan that she says will save families money. What a leading Democrat in Lansing says about the challenges of making it happen. Also at 11, a small plane makes an emergency landing on a busy street. Why police say it's an absolutely remarkable moment. Now, if you'd like to hear more about our weather, especially that incoming snow, head on over to our digital live stream at 9 tonight. You can join that stream at WNEM.com, on the TV5 YouTube and Facebook pages, on our Roku and Fire Stick TV channels, and on the TV5 News app. Thanks for joining us for WNEM Evening Extra. Keep up with us as the news breaks online, on our app, or on social media. We'll see you on TV5 at 11.